congratulations on DC Showcase Constantine. Now, I haven't seen it yet. Looking forward to screening it. For my fans at home, what is this about, this latest installment?
Well, we actually got this after, at the end of the James Tucker continuity, called the Tuckerverse sometimes. He hates that, but Tuckerverse. It was Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. And so a year or two after that, Jim Krieg wanted to do, what are the shorts that we're gonna shine a light on, right? And one of them was House of Mystery. And he wanted to put Constantine in it, and Constantine's one of my favorite characters to write. So I was like, oh, let me do that one. And I was like, how about we explain what actually happened? You know, like Constantine gets screwed because he actually broke the laws. He's the one who like kind of told Flash to do it, right? And Jim Krieg, who runs these, he's producer on all of them. He's like, oh, I love that idea, and so this is kind of a coda to the entire Tuckerverse.
Now, I love Constantine. Just when you thought that he's already fully explored, but no, there's another angle, there's another perspective, there's another shade about him that could be further explored. I mean, talk a bit about the shades of Constantine, the character himself.
Well, Constantine, nothing's ever simple, and even when it seems like you've got him beaten, he always has an angle. He's always got another plan. It seems like, boy, he's screwed, and then he pulls it out of the fire. The reason why, one of the many reasons I love Constantine is that he's not super powered, and he fights against people. He punches way above his weight. He fights princes of hell, he fights near gods, and he at least fights them to a standstill, but he takes a beating. But he keeps on getting up, so it's like if you or I had a lot of magical items, it's like how we do it, like it was like, we barely survived. So that's a good outcome. A good outcome is the world didn't end and we barely survived. It's not like Superman where it's like, oh, the villain is toast. Yeah. He's done.
Now, before I let you go, talk a bit about, for my fans, the significance of DC Showcase animated shorts compared to full-blown movie. Like, what is it about them that makes DC animated shorts that makes them so enticing compared to full-form storytelling?
Well, the DC animated shorts. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's going to require some editing. What are they called again? The DC Showcase shorts are on characters that don't get their full animated feature-length films, right? They're more niche, but we're fans of those characters and we want to shine a light on them. So they are these characters like Blue Beetle or Commandi, where you're like, this was really cool, let's show it to some people, and then the hope is it's so popular that maybe we do get to do a feature upon it. So they're characters that we think are underserved, and we want to get more popular or out there,
Looking forward to DC Showcase, Constantine, House of Mystery. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Jeremy and Jenny, how are you doing?
We're doing great.
We're
how
great.
are you?
Welcome to WonderCon.
Yes,
Thank you.
Glad to be back.
So this is the Blue Beetle team, right?
That's right.
Yes.
I love that character, one of my favorites. So talk to me about what this animated short is about.
This animated short is about Ted Cord Blue Beetle stumbling upon a crime and the question joining him in the investigation as it starts to spiral out of control, leading them to the inevitable answer to the question.
Okay, I gotta ask.
How very
You like that?
That's good.
Okay.
No, I haven't seen it. I'm looking forward to screening it.
Yep.
Which Blue Beetle is this?
Ted Cord.
Ted Cord. Okay.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the development of this project and why that particular Blue Beetle.
It started with Jeremy.
Yeah, Jim Krieg and Rick Morales and I, we were having lunch one day, and we were talking about, they had to do a bunch of shorts. And so I know that they probably wanted to kind of like circle around Blue Beetle, and I'm a huge Blue Beetle nerd. So we took kind of a pastiche of some of the Charlton characters, and we talked about the story. The germinal idea came from the first story of the first comic that I think I bought, where the squids are trying to steals something, and Ted Kord jumps in, and then it just kind of spirals out of control and becomes this kind of little meta, strange story about about a cartoon in the '60s in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know how best to describe it.
Well, and that has to do really with the style of it. It looks like something from an archive, which was very purposeful.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, Jenny. What do you find fascinating about Blue Beetle, and why is it about Blue Beetle that resonates with a lot of fans out there?
Well, what I loved about it was, well, first of all, so Jeremy wrote the outline,
Of course.
and then I got to write this. So he did all the hard work.
Yes.
So then my job was super easy because he'd done such a great job. I just got to write the script and write all the fun jokes. And I think what I loved about the Blue Beetle, and I think what people will relate to, is his humor.
No.
He doesn't have any patience for the question. He doesn't want the question to get in his way, but he has to admit that the question is often right, and that really bugs him. And I think that's very relatable.
Now, before I let you go, I want to ask about this DC Showcase animated shorts. What is the significance of that compared to the full feature-length storytelling form? I mean, what is it about DC Showcase animated shorts that's enticing compared to the full-blown movie?
I think they're really incredibly well-told stories, one-offs, but I think they have significant importance into the DC animated universe that maybe we don't know of yet. That might have significance down the line. I don't know. Maybe. I can't say if it's true or not. But I'm saying it by itself, they're really fun stories that deal with characters that aren't Batman. Which, by the way, if people buy this, then there's going to be more stories exploring other DC characters. And there's always kind of like a glut online of criticism. It's like, oh, it's only Batman, it's only Batman, it's only Batman. It's like, well, if you bought other things, there would be other things. So my hope is that people really get some of the affection that I have for some of these other DC characters and purchase it because they're really great stories.
Jenny?
I agree with everything Jeremy said. No, it was, for me, the fun of it, he was already a fan. I didn't really know a lot about these obscure characters, so it was really fun to do the research, go and read all of the really old comic books from the 60s, like maybe even one of the ones that you bought as a kid. And it is important for it to be more than just Batman and Spider-Man. So hopefully these guys will explode onto the scene.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations and thank you. And welcome to WonderCon. How are you doing today?
Oh, doing great. Happy to be here.
Yeah, nice to be back at the con.
Yeah, feels good to be back. And Rick, I know you oversaw all of the characters here on this installment. Talk a bit about that project for my fans at home.
Oh, I mean, it was just such a joy to be able to work on such a diverse array of characters, and finally bring some of these guys to the screen that haven't necessarily been done. Certainly not in this way.
And Jim, legendary producer. So Kamandi
He's also legendary.
No, you're the legendary.
He is
producer.
legendary. I am mythic.
Kamandi, Blue Beetle, The Losers, Constantine. Talk a bit about these fan favorite characters for this installment.
We picked these characters because they all wear shoes. Or does Commandy wear shoes? I don't know.
He does.
Essentially, you guys should know that we're fans, and the reason we pick these characters is we love these characters, and the hope is that the people who buy these are also fans, and that they want to see these characters too, that they've been waiting, and this is their chance.
Or that it'll expose some, people that may not know who Commandy is to that world and that look, and for me personally, I hope it drives people to want to go back and look at the old comic books because I'm a big comic book fan. So
yeah, you know what? It's maybe Constantine in this case is the gateway drug that people know.
That's my
and
thought.
so it draws them in to buy this, and then they go, The Losers, this is great. Is there a comic? And you go, yeah, there is. There's actually a giant omnibus collection, and there's one for Commandy too. And is there one for Blue Beetle? You may have to collect Blue Beetle separately.
Now, I saw the trailer, looking forward to screening it. Now, the style of the animation looks different for Constantine. Talk to me about that compared to the previous animation style for Constantine and all the others.
Yeah, I mean, we did intentionally go in a different direction. There are some reasons for that I can't speak on here.
Oh, okay.
But stay tuned, I guess.
Yes, but I will say that it's great that Matt still does the voice because you know that it's the same character portrayed in the same way, just visually the style has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Last question prior to go. So what's next for DC Showcase Animated Shorts? What other characters are you considering bringing for us?
I mean, we can't really say.
Honestly, what's next for DC Showcase Shorts is buy a whole lot of this, or watch it a lot when it starts streaming, and then maybe we'll be doing some more.
All right, fair enough. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Paul. Welcome to WonderCon. Congratulations on the DC Showcase Animated Shorts. How you doing?
Really well. Thank you for having me.
Good. So, for my fans at home, which installment of this short that you worked on?
I wrote for the DC Showcase short, Commandi, The Last Boy on Earth.
All right. So, Commandi is a lesser-known DC character, but a lot of fans are fans of his. Talk to me about the storyline that you picked for this installment. What kind of adventure that the Commandi is having?
Well, what's neat about this character is that he's a different kind of hero. He lives in this future world, a future fallen world that's it's the most familiar thing in our experience is Planet of the Apes. He's that kind of world where he's the last boy on Earth, and the world has gone through some horrible disaster. It's in a fallen state, and humanity is basically gone. And now those niches have been taken over by anthropomorphized animals, and so. It was cool because you suddenly have a completely new canvas with a character that nobody knows anything about, and so when we decided to do this, I went and researched his storyline, and I was shocked at how the depth of his world. Kirby created this incredibly intense storyline and world that Commandi lives in. So it goes way beyond just these things. So we've had to figure out how in a short to sort of give you a taste of what Commandi's world is like, what his world is like, and then pick something to adapt. And there was a story that Jack Kirby had written called The Mighty One. And it was a story about how there was a cult that worshipped Superman because he had tried to stop the world from being destroyed completely when this big disaster happened. And so we said maybe we could take that story and turn it on its ear a little bit and try to hide the idea, because the original story was a little bit more about Commandi kind of trying to fight for the honor of Superman and his legacy in a way. But this one was more about not knowing who this Mighty One was and trying to, while everybody else was trying to display the physical attributes of Superman, being strong or bulletproof or being able to fly or fighting monsters, he was much more about making sure nobody was left behind, protecting and helping others, showing ingenuity and most importantly showing compassion for his enemy. And there was an enemy that was trying to kill him the entire short. We thought if he can show that he was willing to, protect somebody who was trying to kill him the whole time, I think that's a message that we all need. And it's the kind of hero we all could be. He's not Commandi doesn't have superpowers. He's not that kind of a superhero. And I always say Charlton Heston isn't a superhero in Planet of the Apes. He's an amazing character. But Commandi is. And why is he? And it's because he's willing to sort of do those superhero. He has those qualities. He still will protect others, put himself in harm's way for others. He will fight even for his enemies. And it's about making the world a better place throughout the whole time. And once he sees that suit, anybody else would have taken it and put it on or allowed himself to be worshipped. He just wants to. He realizes I can find this person and we can make the world whole again. And I think that's a message we kind of need right now, especially being back.
Yes.
After all this time.
Exactly. Now I love these showcase anime shorts bring forth some of these obscure characters, to the forefront. Do you think there's a possibility of Commandi to maybe get an even bigger platform, either maybe his own full-blown movie or a live action? I mean, what do you see the future would be for Commandi, a character like Commandi?
Well, it's funny. We've talked to a few folks here, and everybody said the same thing. Well, once you see him in a form that you can, that in motion, in a motion picture form, you realize this character is really cool. The world he lives in is really cool, and you could tell an amazing, version of Kirby's Earth AD. And I think that it was the hardest part was condensing all of this craziness down into giving a little bit of a taste of it. We got a write-up in Forbes of all places, and that was the main thrust of it. a unique take, a nice distillation of Kirby's world, but it's just crying out for that series. So it would be a fantastic show. I think you could tell a story of Commandy's travels across this future Earth, and if you look at that map that he created of that world, every continent has something different. Different animals have become dominant, sapient creatures, and different. The oceans are boiling and vortexes, and it's just all of Canada's kind of gone, and it's really a neat but crazy world. And the idea is, how do you make the world whole again? How do you fix this world that's in a way broken? And it's interesting because it's not from a natural disaster. It's not from like nuclear war, like in Planet of the Apes. Some natural disaster happened, and something natural came, and that's sort of what we've been dealing with in a way. And I think the idea of how do you live past something that upset the whole world, and how do you reach out to people and say, how do we come together? It's a simple little story, but the reason I do this is because I really care about this kind of thing. I really feel like these characters, and I think that most Comic-Con attendees feel the same way. These characters are more than just entertainment for us. They represent some form of morality, and I think DC's characters do that in a very special way. They have they're sort of archetypal in a way, and so I think they lend themselves to animation and to this kind of storytelling really well. So.
All right, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations, sir. Hey, Tim and Dave, how are you doing? And welcome to WonderCon.
Oh, so happy to be here.
Yeah.
So it's like so exciting to be back at a con, right?
around all of our people.
Love it.
Yes. So congratulations on DC Showcase animated shorts, The Losers, which is part of the Constantine House's mystery. Talk to me about why bringing these characters come to life for this time for the fans. Why
Yeah, I mean, that's what the showcases are all about, right? It's a showcase for characters that maybe have not been represented on screen, but are big, important legacy characters in the canon. And I think that getting a chance to bring the Losers, on screen was really exciting for me. I got to work on the Sergeant Rock short before with the Simonsons and with Bruce Timm. Yeah, and that was, I hadn't grown up with the Losers, but when I was working on the Sergeant Rock thing, I did a lot of research about DC comics and the war comics, and the Losers were the most interesting sort of team, the most interesting group that came out of it. So when Jim Krieg called and said, "Hey, you want to write the Losers short?" I was like, "Yes, please, let's do it."
Dave, you voiced two characters in this installment, right? Which one are those, and how do you form the voices for these characters?
It was Sarge and Gunner, and a lot of it is because guys like Tim have done their job, so the characters are there, and there is sort of an archetypal thing to these type of characters with the veteran, the grizzled veteran, and the younger kind of looser little comedy kind of relief guy. And see, that was the thing for me too, is that being a huge comic book fan my whole life, I grew up definitely reading Sergeant Rock. And I was aware of the Losers, but it wasn't something I had really followed. Whereas Sergeant Rock, Sergeant Fury, all those different like war comics, huge fan. So it was really interesting for me when I got this. First thing I did was I went back. All right, let me learn the history of the Losers, and let me go back and read this stuff because I kind of know that world and kind of the DC war comic thing. But it was really cool just because, again, getting to play sort of both sides, both ends of the spectrum as far as how they fill out the team, was really cool. It was a lot of fun. So.
Can we hear the voices right now?
Oh yeah, well, Sarge is down here. He's more grizzled, kind of guy in charge. And Gunner's a little bit lighter. Like, I don't know, ma'am. I don't think that's a really good idea. So yeah, those are.
That's so weird. That's so weird. That's the first time I've seen you do that.
Oh yeah, it's pretty done here. So, yeah.
That's great. I talked to the Blue Beetle team and how the animation style is kind of a throwback, if you will. Talk about the animation style for the Losers. So what kind of style we're seeing here?
Well, the beauty of it is you're talking to a screenwriter and an actor, so we can speak to all the choices that were made in terms of the artistic style. No, I mean honestly, all I can tell you is that I am thrilled beyond belief that someone like Rick Morales was at the helm of this movie because
it's definitely got his style. Because I also did the Mortal Kombat Legends movies with Rick. So
if you asked me to draw anything, it would not even. If you asked me to draw a straight line, It would not be a straight. I can't draw at all.
It's either a
Happily,
fire hydrant or a chocolate chip cookie. It's a cat.
yeah.
I drew a cat.
Yeah. But one of the cool things in terms of, I think, some of the visuals in the movie is the way that this is, it's not just a traditional war movie, right? There's sci-fi, there's a spy movie going on, but also it's a movie about, it's spy-fi. Oh my God, spy-fi.
We have a new genre. We just created this.
spy-fi.
Welcome to spy-fi.
It's spy-fi at war. That's fantastic. I'm stealing that.
Please. I gift it to you. Just hire me to work on it, that's all.
All right, we'll see.
We'll see. Oh, okay.
We'll
I
see.
see how it works. Okay, I get this now.
Maybe we'll have you audition.
We'll think about it.
I love that DC Showcase animated shorts bring forth all these obscure characters to the forefront. So my final question to you guys is: is there a possibility of maybe bringing the losers to a full-blown movie, a full feature length, or live action? What could be the next possibility for the losers?
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah,
I
your
think
mouth to
that
God's
I
ears.
know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so, and I think that that's one of the great advantages of doing these short films is, if enough people see it, enough people like it, I think that it's a springboard and an opportunity to be able to bring these characters, to the screen again in other ways. Let's hope, that people get excited about it and are looking for something like that.
And just to have, the bigger opportunities for storytelling because, if every Batman thing that comes out, I'm going to watch it. So, and I love that there was all these stories of Batman and Superman and all these huge characters that we know. I'll watch all of them. But it's nice to actually say, hey, let's go over here. We've done so many. We kind of have an understanding of where those characters are. Let's take a look at some that maybe we haven't and open up some new storytelling avenues and kind of explore that the way we've gotten to explore those bigger characters. So yeah, I would love to do it. I mean, I'm in.
To the movie gods, yes,
Yeah.
please. Let's do it.
My fingers crossed. Thank you so much, sir. Congratulations. Thank you.